Hi, this is Katie,
This is Carrah,
and welcome to Life and the Party.
your unofficial guide to growing up and having fun. Today, we're going to talk about weddings because we are quickly approaching wedding season. We're going to talk about hot takes about weddings as a guest. We're going to talk a little bit about non-traditional weddings and why to have them. And then we'll go right into talking a little bit about what Ryan and I did for our wedding.
I mean, I'm not married, so this is very informative for me in wedding planning vibes.
Yeah, and I think I feel like wedding guests have just as many opinions on weddings as brides do.
Oh yeah. We be I don't say judging sounds harsh because I love all the weddings I've been to, but we be looking because it's always like, what would you want to do for yours?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like weddings can bring out the judginess in people. Um, I personally don't really care that much, but especially people who are traditional and have traditional weddings, I feel like more judgy people tend to be the traditional wedding type.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have loved all the weddings I've been to for a variety of reasons, but it always comes down to like I think about what I would do, and it's more like, well, I see how this plays out. Would I want a million people? Would I want this specific place?
Mm-hmm.
Would I want not this thing specifically? Maybe different like those little traditions that all weddings have of like the hot take, not a fan of any of those like flower toss or garter toss or any of those, which I don't see much anymore. And I'm kind of happy about that.
Okay,
Um,
yeah. Talk about why don't you like you mean like the bouquet toss?
Yeah, I mean the bouquet toss is fine, but like at a certain age, no one's single anymore, so it's just like kids or that one person who's 32. Like how I
Yeah.
was at some weddings, so I was just like, oh cool, it's like me and two other people, but the bride wants to do it, which is fine. Like I'll go do it. But it just seems
I've
a little forced sometimes, and unless it's like a maybe certain environments would create a better vibe for that, like
yeah.
sort of thing. But some people also get way too intense with it. I know I caught the bouquet at a wedding I went to when I was like 8. And then someone in my church caught like another like younger kid caught the garter and they made us take a picture and I felt so awkward. I was like, "Oh my god, do I have to like marry this kid?" Cuz I was like 8. I was like, "I don't like
Yeah.
that." I was like, "Oh, cool." I
Yeah,
I don't know,
I
maybe it
think
was
it's
like a
definitely
trauma
weird.
from that weird experience.
Yeah. I hated any wedding I went to when they did that. I would leave the floor. Like I never tried to catch it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I feel like I know it doesn't have to mean anything, but like
Mhm.
to me it always felt like it meant you were like desperate to get married and I never ever felt that way.
Mhm. It always felt weird seeing like sometimes they do the video of the bouquet toss and someone grabs it and then their boyfriend just like runs away. I get the joke, but that's also not funny at
Yeah.
all. You know, like I would feel hurt if that happened.
Yeah.
Not that again, it's a comparison or whatever, but I think some of them have a little bit more weight than others. The guard toss is just weird. I don't want anyone,
I don't think
someone
you should.
under with a
No,
face
not in
under a
front of like
dress.
family or other people. That's so weird to me.
Yeah, it's like no one needs to see that.
Like
Sorry.
all I can think of is like the creepy uncles and people who are like standing around like watching that. What family member would want to watch that?
I don't know. I
A
wonder if it's from
weirdo.
like the weird. I'm gonna hypothetically assume this might not be correct, but like it's a leftover of the whole like we have to prove that they had sex on their wedding night kind of thing. To like consummate the marriage because legally you can be married to someone, but if you never do it, you're technically can get your marriage annulled versus like
Yeah.
divorced. So I wonder if that's like part of that kind of thing,
Yeah.
like a weird
Let
relic
me
from that.
let me see if I can find like the history behind garter toss.
But like on top of those things, I love the like dances between like the parents and the bride and groom. I think those are so cute and they always make me cry. I'm like, tender.
Yeah.
Like those are so sweet.
Yeah.
I've loved every single one of those I've seen.
What do
But
you think about?
oh boy.
I've heard people. I just don't want to like say who this is about, but
Say
I know
redacted.
someone. I'm never good at doing the redacted thing or the name thing. Um, I know someone whose son got married, and they had like it seemed like it was a fairly traditional wedding. They're in their like early to mid 20s. The son only wanted to do like the mother son dance for like 15 seconds. And
Oh.
I felt bad. And it's like I don't know if I have the right to feel bad because we didn't have like a wedding where there was that kind of dance, so we didn't really give Ryan's mom the opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, if you are going to do it,
You have to do it.
why only for 15 seconds?
I would feel as a mom, like either don't do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather you not do it than do like a pity one.
Mm-hmm.
Like is the bride with the dad doing like a full like 2 minute song? Like I know they're not super long songs. Like it's like a
Yeah.
minute or so. But to be like, I'm choosing to make this short because it's the last thing I want to do kind of hurts. And that's part of the reasons like with some of these like traditional, very traditional wedding things, like they're also not for the bride and the groom. They're kind of like also for the parents. And like, would my parents want those things? What if I don't want those things? Do I hurt their feelings by not wanting some of those more traditional stuff? And obviously those are like, you do whatever you want for your wedding, but
Yeah.
it does sit back there. And as a someone who loves the dances, I would probably be hurt a little
Yeah.
bit. What are your thoughts on it?
On what?
I wasn't sure if I heard your thoughts on that dancing part.
Oh, I mean, I think if you're going to have a traditional wedding and that's what you want to do, I think you can do it. I
Yeah.
personally, so growing up with like a single mom, I never like wanted to do any of the dance stuff because obviously I didn't have a dad to do the dance with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the reason why I wanted to go the non-traditional route in general for a wedding because like none of the traditional like events would make me feel good because it is all centered around having like a mother, a father, and usually like a fairly big family and having a
Mm-hmm.
family to pay for it, and I didn't have that either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't about me like I want to do something different to be like unique. I was like my whole life I was like I'm not having a wedding like that because I would feel like sad, honestly, because
Mm-hmm.
it's set up for certain kinds of people. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there are lots of people who feel like they have to go that route because everybody else does it. And then they end up feeling a little lonely or a little sad or a little like they don't fit in at their own wedding.
Mm-hmm. No one's
And
be forced to do something they don't want to do on one
yeah,
of those happiest days of your life,
yeah.
supposedly. I'm not married, so I would assume though.
But like, yeah, of course it's tough to tell people like a lot of people want like stick to the traditional stuff because they don't want to hurt their family members' feelings or their family is paying for it and so their family is like controlling what they do, which in that
Mm-hmm.
case that's just not my personality doesn't vibe with that.
Yeah.
I would be like I'm not having a wedding period if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think a lot of people overestimate how sad their family would actually be. I think at first, like breaking tradition is a little difficult for people from older generations. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
their ideal. But then when it gets down to it, as long as like they're included to an extent and you're happy, they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
I think everyone like so over exaggerates like what they think their parents' reactions are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Well, they probably also have heard that their entire lives and been planning this
mhm.
one day, and
Yeah.
so like I know a lot of people have since they were like kids. I don't think I ever really thought about it too much. So, but that's just me not
Yeah.
thinking about the future. Um,
Which you're
but
going to start doing this year.
damn right, I'm 30 redacted. It's time to
Did
not
you
just
get
vibe.
did you get my message from about when Ryan was like, when you guys say 30 redacted, it makes it sound like you guys are like in your late 30s.
That's
I
fine.
was like, oh shit. Yeah. I was like, yeah, we meant to do that.
Yeah, of course. I'll forever be 30 redacted. Um,
Wait, hold on one second because I did find the history of a garter toss.
ooh, okay.
It says today a garter toss should be all in good fun with willing participants happy to get a giggle out of the activity. But it wasn't always that way. In medieval times, pieces of the bride's ensemble were considered tokens of good luck, so much so that wedding guests would fight to rip her clothes right off her body.
Oh God.
Things would
Okay.
get so rowdy, couples decided to throw a garter for guests to fight over instead. So the garter toss may have actually arisen as a protective measure. Cringe. It also says this is from an article from The Knot. It says there are also other origin stories of the garter toss. For example, there was an 18th century English game called Flinging the Stocking, which involved tossing garters at the couple on their wedding day. Friends and family would try to land one on a newlywed's head for, you guessed it, luck and love.
That's cute. Than
It almost sounds like the second one was made up to make it sound better.
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, me.
I don't like that. We can drop that tradition. Now that we don't do that anymore, I think we I mean, do if you want to, and then it's all in good fun. But
What other hot takes do we have?
hot take. I didn't know it was a tradition, but the whole glass clinking to get a kiss every time.
Okay, I like that one.
I think it's like a couple times, sure, but I don't want to hear glasses clinking because my personality would be like, stop, I don't want to do this. Like, this is just
I like it because it's so
overwhelmed.
annoying. You can annoy them, and
yeah, and I don't
me and
wanna
Ryan
feel
just do it over and over.
Well, then I'll just ignore you when you do it.
Then we'll just keep doing it.
Perfect. Hot take that I love is like fun bridesmaids dresses where not everyone's wearing the same thing, either different colors or like a theme or stuff that fits people's bodies, but the same fabric, just something that's flexible and not so rigid. I think is nice, and I know that's a lot more accepted now, but I'm a big fan of that. That's a little more personality than just like one color sometimes.
Same.
As you can tell from some of these hot takes, that we kind of lean a little non-traditional when it comes to weddings and the like.
Lib weddings.
I mean, I've obviously been thinking about certain things, and they do lean non-traditional. And I know, Carrah, you had a non-traditional wedding. What made you want to have that style?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, like just growing up in a very non-traditional family, having a single mom, not having very much money. I never really even like thought about a wedding in my future. Literally until I was dating Ryan and we started talking about our future. And I mean, I didn't even know like what kind of ring I would want, anything like that. But I did know that like going to weddings and experiencing that, I was like, I wouldn't really like feel good about myself if this was the setup. It just like I said earlier, like I think it's built around like a specific kind of family system. And I even think if you have like a solid or present family system that can afford it, like there's a lot of dysfunction in families, and I think a lot of people have weddings and it adds a lot of stress. But then we decided together that we loved each other so much that we wanted to get married one day.
Did Ryan seem like he wanted more of the? It sounds like we talked about you weren't like not against, but not open. Did Ryan be like, I want to get married, and like say some of those things to you to make you want it more? Or was it sort of like, this is the next step for us together?
I can't really remember exactly. I know that when we first started dating, both of us were like, how do you feel about like marriage and like getting married? And we were both kind of like, I'm not against it, but like I'm not like fiending for it. We were like, we don't really care that much. And then it was just like the longer we were dating, the more conversations we were having about like, I think really I wanted to get out of South Carolina. And so I'm like thinking about my future, and I'm like, okay, I have this great relationship that I would like to keep going. Is he going to move with me? Is he just going to be like my boyfriend coming with me? Or are we going to have like deeper conversations about like what's our intentions with each other?
Mhm.
And then so we started having those conversations and we were like, no, like we want to be together forever. We want to get married, blah, blah, blah. And then I think it was like me wanting to move that probably started those conversations. I was like, "Do you want to move?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so
Yeah, if
then
you were probably hanging in Charleston, not saying you wouldn't be married by now, but it probably would have just been a bit slower of a timeline. Because
yeah.
it wasn't a pressing issue. But when you're like, I want
Yeah.
to make it move, but don't want to wait forever for that to happen. I need to talk about it.
And I did not want to like live with a partner unless we were going to get married because
Mhm.
I never really like had a desire to live with a partner either. Like that's like I would have been fine living by myself, like even to now. Like I just
Mhm.
enjoyed it when I lived by myself.
Mhm.
Um and so I was like, I don't want to move in with somebody and like merge my life unless I know it's the real deal and it's long term. So
Mhm. So y'all wanted it. Y'all
yeah.
wanted y'all want to get
I was
married.
gonna say it's a Friday and so my brain is fried, so I might be a little slow.
That's okay.
Um
We're all here with you.
but yeah, and so we talked about how to have a wedding and what that would look like, and it took a lot of conversations and discussions because like none of us had really thought about it before.
Mhm.
And my family is very different from Ryan's family in that like he has like a bigger Catholic family, lots of
Mhm.
cousins, lots of aunts and uncles. Love them to death. They're like all so nice and so great. And ideally, like it would have been nice to have a big wedding with them, but I think I would have felt pretty bummed and lonely like having 6 family members and then he has like 100 people, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and like I just yeah, it just wouldn't have been something that made me feel good. And so we had
Mhm.
lots of discussions about what that could look like.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
also
I
lots
remember you
yeah.
talking about like planning a more traditional style wedding of
Mhm.
like these are the flowers we're looking at. These are these things we're looking at. And then you gave me the call of we're not going to do that anymore
Well, it
after
was
you all
going
talked
to
about
be kind of traditional. We were going to do like a bigger event with family and friends, but
it. Mhm.
also like we didn't want to spend a ton of money.
It's
And
expensive.
so we did start planning something. We're like, "Oh, we'll do it at a brewery in Charleston because that'll be so much cheaper." And we like get like a wedding planner. We tour like all these venues. We start reaching out to vendors. We like meet up with like food vendors, all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And it started getting to the point where it was getting so expensive, but it was nothing like how we
You
would have
envisioned
wanted it to be.
in your head. Yeah.
So like it's one of these things that like starts getting bigger and bigger and more expensive. And then I'm like, if we're gonna spend like $30,000 on something and I'm not really happy with the food choices or the flowers or with the lighting, like I'm like, what
You're
is
making
the point in
cuts
that?
on stuff you don't want to make cuts on. It's
It's like,
like,
what is the point in spending that much money on something that is not exactly what you want? And so we decided not to do it. We actually had already put down a deposit on the venue and then got Ryan luckily got it back. Um,
otherwise you would
but
have been like, guess we're doing something there.
I
Not
know.
a wedding. It's just a hangout for
Would have been
4
a very
hours on
expensive hangout. It was not any cheaper than like other venues.
Charleston doesn't help by being
Yeah.
one of the most expensive places that just upcharges you once
It's
they
a
know it's
wedding
the wedding.
destination too.
Mhm.
They should
Yep.
do locals discounts.
They should.
But yeah, so then we talked more and then settled on, well, not settled on because it was exactly what we wanted. We decided to elope on Catalina Island with our immediate family, so our parents and our siblings, and then
Mhm.
siblings' kids. And we kind of turned it into like a big family vacation. We all stayed there for like 5 days, I think.
Mhm. And you brought
Um,
Kaya.
and Ryan drove across the country so that he could bring Kaya, and I flew to Denver to see Katie, and
Yeah.
then I
We did our
flew
nails.
from Denver to California. Um, but I mean, it's still like also like I think we thought it was going to be a little cheaper than it was. It ended up being more expensive, but
You
it
got what
was
you wanted.
it was exactly what we wanted, and like we like also helped get my mom out there, and it was nice to just like all spend time together with our families on like a
Mhm.
quiet island. It
Mhm.
was like low key. It was very relaxing. We like rode bikes. We just hung out, had margaritas.
'Cause the only like timing thing you had was the wedding, right?
Yeah, our wedding day was very chill. It was like we did like the getting ready separate. We had I had like a hair and makeup artist come to Catalina Island, got ready separate, and then we did our first look on this little like pebble beach with Kaya. So that was really cute. And while we were doing that, our family members were taking they had to take like a taxi or a golf cart up to the hill where we were going to get married. And some of our family members are notorious for like being late. And so we just wanted to make sure that they had plenty of time to get up there.
You should tell them the wrong time. You're like, sorry, it's at 3. It's actually at 2:30.
I definitely added lots of buffer time. And then we got up there. Like we didn't have to pay anything for like a venue. We literally I did a bunch of research on like different weddings that happened on Catalina. I looked through all their photos to find ceremony spots. And it's this gorgeous spot on a hill for free. And so then we just like did our little ceremony with our family standing around. And then afterwards we did like hugs and took lots
Just
of
hugs?
pictures. Yeah.
We just hugs. So
that was
cute.
our family. Katie, you want us to do more than that with our family?
I was like, and then we had hugs, a hug time.
That was one of my favorite like series of photos is right after our ceremony, then like hugging our family. It looks really cute. Because like a traditional wedding, like you get married up there and then you walk down the aisle and it's like all super formal. And then by the time you see your family, it's like
it's an hour later after all the pictures and everything.
So it's just cute that like we could like say our vows, exchange rings, kiss, and then we could be like, oh my God, and like hug each other.
It's right here. Yay. Tender.
And then we did a bunch of photos. And then once family photos were done, they got to go and do whatever they wanted until dinner, which was like not until like, I have no idea what time it was, maybe like 6 or something. And then Ryan and I took pictures for a few more hours and then met up with them at dinner. And then like that was it. There wasn't like any expectation really. It was like I put a whole list of things to do on the island and like sent it out so everyone knew like what they could do. But I wanted it to be like a relaxing time. The night before.
You're not hosting anybody. You're like, hey, you're here. I'm here for Ryan. This is our thing. I'm not here to like, we're not all going shopping together. Like this is this.
Yeah.
Like have that space.
It was nice the night before. Ryan's parents were really cute and they put together like a little welcome night for us and got like food.
Aww.
And we all got together and hung out. And then Ryan's brother gave a speech. My sister Christina gave a little speech. And then Ryan's dad gave a speech.
Aw, that's cute.
But yeah, do you have any other questions for me, Katie?
About your wedding? Oh my gosh. I mean, I saw the pictures and was everything. It was so beautiful. I remember seeing it. I think I was in Denver. Obviously, I was in Denver when I got the pics. And I was just like, oh my God, look how cute this is. I think I started crying a little bit. I was like,
oh, you know. It was more perfect than I ever could have imagined. And I think a lot of that has to do with like structuring it in a way where it is relaxing. And there's like not a lot of pressure. Like we did exactly what we wanted to do. And then later we had like 2 months later, we had a rooftop party.
Yeah.
In our apartment building in DC. And that was really cool too, because it was a new city for us. And so we got to have all of our friends come. We could only invite 100 people. So it was capped at that. But then we like got to showcase some of our favorite things in DC, like our favorite wine shop, our favorite gelato, our favorite pizza.
We went to a Nationals game.
Yeah,
that bounced around all together. Yeah,
that was fun. We did like a big Nationals game the night before. After the rooftop party, we rented out like the upstairs portion of this bar, and we went there. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And we did speeches.
Yes, we did.
Katie gave an amazing speech. She'll have to
There's a
read
video of it somewhere, right? Oh my God.
Natalie, I think, took a video of it, but maybe for our anniversary, we can post the video of Katie's speech.
It's something.
It was amazing. It was like the best. It was like the sweetest thing. It was like so well written. It was so Katie. Like people were like cheering for her during her speech.
Oh yeah.
It was very sweet. Everyone's speech was so good. Like Madeline gave a speech, and hers was iconic because she released a prank that had been on, like a prank that me and her did like years ago. I won't say what it is because I'll save that for a prank episode. But me and her pranked somebody like 10 years ago or something. And literally until her speech, no one knew it had been a prank. So that was pretty crazy. And then Ryan's friend Alan gave a speech, and that was also amazing.
It was really nice. It was such a good, like, because you have the pressures of it being a wedding, it was able to, like, I don't say have more fun, but it was like a different, more relaxed kind of vibe.
Yeah, there was some family there, but it was mostly like a friend gathering.
I mean, I guess that's what's important about like y'all having that non-traditional wedding is you kind of miss out on like the friends being present for some of these things. And y'all did a really great job of like having bachelor and bachelorette parties that were like open to a lot of people, and then having this party to sort of be like, hey, like we know we did this thing on our own, but we love you guys so much, so we're hosting like a friend thing that's just us. That way you can kind of keep those moments separate, because like you're getting married to someone, it's like, yes, but also the besties are here, I feel obligated to see them, and it's not as about you two at the same time.
And we got to show our wedding video.
It was so cute.
Yeah, that was really fun too. And that was very stressful leading up to it because that projector never works in that room. And like no one knew how to work it who worked at the building. We did like some practice runs, but like the whole time I was like, this thing probably isn't going to work. And then it worked. So
the universe smiling down on your decisions, I guess.
Yeah, I know. And I will say like our wedding day ended up being perfect and the whole thing did. But like leading up there was a lot of stress because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of logistics. We were getting people from DC, South Carolina, Alabama, Idaho, California, and Arizona all to this island. So you have to like fly into California. Then you have to get on a ferry. The ferry ride was very rough. Like I don't get seasick, so I was fine. But like Ryan gets seasick. His mom gets seasick.
Gets
like
car sick and anything.
It was and it was really rough because it was during that time a few years ago when it was like pouring in LA. So it was like a rough ride over there. I
mean, you still had flowers and photographers and all those things that still have to like be what you want to.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of decisions.
It's like you have to do vendor research not living there. So that was a lot. And then also like I had some family drama going on like within my family who was coming. And so like that was very stressful. So like I don't want to make it seem like leading up to it was also fine. Leading up to it was like lots of hard discussions with Ryan about like what we wanted to do, how much money we wanted to spend, who was going to be there, how we were going to make sure that like everybody, aka 2 members in my family, get along. So there was a lot of stress leading up, but like I just think I'm just saying that to say like it was still worth it. And like if my family can like put things aside for like my day, my big day, like I think lots of other family members can too. I know I have friends who I think worry about that kind of stuff. Another thought that I had when I was like planning our wedding, I don't know if I told you this, probably, but I was like, I used to like throw so many parties and have so many events, and like for me for fun, and then also when I was doing like young alumni stuff for Clemson. So I was very used to like being the center of attention or like having attention. And I think a lot of people, their wedding is like honestly like the only time or the first time or the main time. And so like I think some people are like, this is my time to like have all these people around me. And I honestly feel like I've always put so much effort into bringing big groups of people around me so that I do feel that love, that like I wasn't craving that for a wedding.
Yeah. I think that's a good point of maybe like for the not as social or someone who like
I think also organizers, like people who like, organize. Like I organize people all the time, and I like go out of my way to see people who I care about, and I go out of my way to bring people together. I think for some people, they see like their wedding as that moment.
Yeah, that might be some of the only moments they have to do those things too. It's like, this will be the only time my entire family and their partner's entire family and some friends will ever all be together in the same place. And so it kind of can put a lot of pressure on weddings. Like, oh boy.
Yeah, I want to hear, like, what are you thinking? Like, have you had like changes in opinion about things like as you've gotten older? Or
Um,
like do you know absolutely things that like you want and absolutely things that like you don't want?
yes, I know I want to get married outside.
Okay.
I think that would be cool. But I don't want a big wedding, but I also would want something like what you did where I have a ton of friends and I would love to celebrate, but I do think your wedding should be more about you and your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I like see it. I also have like only been to a handful, not as a kid, so I didn't really have a lot of like ideas about it. No one in my family really got married until like last year. So that's when I started going to family weddings and stuff. And those have all been like a great fun time.
Yeah.
And would love to do something with my family, like extended family also. But I don't know if like the wedding is the place where I want that to be. I want like probably like my immediate family and like my closest besties there, but not like a ton of people.
Yeah. For like your
Okay.
actual wedding ceremony type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, like
Do you want to have one event or two events?
2 events.
Two
Well, like
events.
the wedding and then I guess like a little reception thing.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, kind of like, again, I really like your style of like keeping it a little bit separate.
Yeah.
And that way you have like that time with people and stuff. I do like flowers. So maybe some cool little flower things, but like
What
nothing.
is your favorite flower?
I have a few.
Because I don't really have, I don't know that much about flowers, but what are yours?
I mean, I don't know if any of these flowers would actually work together, but I love magnolias. I don't know if it's
Are
just
those the
smell.
white ones?
Those are the big white ones in the
Yeah.
South that have that really like nice smell. Oh, I love a good magnolia. I like dahlias. Those are really pretty.
Oh, those are cute.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I have a ton, but and I'll go to
You don't
Trader
have
Joe's
to
and pick
have
out.
a ton.
I have two. I have two like favorites. I also like gardenias, but I don't think they're like a wedding flower. But I guess you also have like the season. So like you have fall flowers versus like winter weddings versus spring weddings versus summer weddings. They all have kind of like different vibes in a way.
Yeah.
So I know originally, I think I remember you talking about your wedding. You guys were planning like tropical colors, like blues and pinks and oranges.
Yeah.
For colors for things.
Yeah. I know like my bouquet, I wanted to be very colorful. And I asked the women in our family to wear like orange, pink, maybe yellow or something. I wanted those colors to be like kind of bright.
Yeah. Like I'll be wearing white and whatever Daniel really likes the idea of a very fun suit. He's like, I'm so annoyed that men's suits are so boring. And I'm like,
they're kind of getting more like,
yeah.
I think guys are opening up a little bit more about their suits.
I was like, you can do whatever you want. That's the whole point. Like of having those talks is like, if you want a fun suit, you can have a fun suit. Like if you want to get married in an interesting place, you can do that. Obviously, there are some concessions that will be made for things.
Typically, like you're supposed to let the bride shine, which is the only thing that comes into play with like a man's suit is like a man's suit can be like fun and pretty, but like you want like the bride to stand out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But that's a traditional point of view.
But also like the man's getting married too. Maybe he also wants to stand out a little bit. That's also his day too.
Yeah.
You know, like
my hot take is that it's not. I think they can look good, but I don't think they should be drawing attention to themselves. But like,
no, I mean, if your partner wants something, you should like in a way maybe try to make it work too, where you're not running everything. It's just what you want, because then that's not like I don't know, conducive. It seems like that would cause a lot of fights and like they feel.
But some people are like that. Some people like are okay with one person having the control over one thing, and I think that's like more of an old school kind of thing with like, oh, I'll just do whatever she says or whatever.
Did y'all make concessions or like have a discussion about certain things that you like, well, I want this, and you're like, okay, we can make that this?
Ryan is pretty like go with the flow. Like I think he wanted me to be happy, but like he definitely had opinions when we were looking at suits. He got his from Bonobos, and I can't even remember like I think I was looking at wedding pictures, and I think I probably found some wedding pictures where the guy was in that shade of blue suit, and I was
like that blue.
I was like, this looks so good, especially with like his dark hair and facial hair. And I
Mm-hmm.
showed him and he was like, "Oh yeah, I do really like that." And
Mm-hmm.
then we like went and he got like his fitting and he loved it. And then like we found a tie for him. So like Ryan is definitely not someone who's like, whatever you want. But like I bring ideas to him and then he'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I love that."
He
Or
may not like actively think about it himself, but when he sees what he wants, he's like, I like this.
yes.
Why'd you pick Catalina?
I think it was after we decided we weren't going to do like a wedding in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
I had the idea of Catalina, and because I was born in Southern California and I grew up going to Catalina multiple times, like every summer with my grandparents, and we would like deep sea fish on the way to the island. And then we'd stay on the island for a few nights. We'd either like stay in our boat or we'd stay in like a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like my favorite memory growing up. And then Ryan and I went there for like a birthday trip that I had. And he had been there before actually because he lived in Long Beach for a little bit and he got scuba certified on Catalina. With
Ryan's
the
scuba certified?
yeah, well, he
What?
was. That expires.
Oh. Oh.
But
Well, so that's cool. I didn't know that about Ryan.
yeah, with our friend who officiated the wedding, they actually got scuba certified together.
Cute.
Yeah. And then so we went on a trip and we're out at dinner, like looking out at the beach, looking out at the water. And he's like really quiet and has like this serious look on his face. And I was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, because I had not seen him like really look like that before. And
Like something wrong?
"What's going on?" I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just relaxed." And I was like, "Oh my God.
You look mad about it.
This is like the first time you've ever like truly been relaxed in like a very long time." But he just like loved it and we had a great trip. And so like it was like one place that I think he felt really at peace and I feel really at peace. And then we talked about like we should just get married there.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cute. Like a
I
special
want to
place for
take
both of you.
I want to like take my closest friends there
Girls trip.
sometime.
Ah!
It is
I've never
just like
been. I've never been.
I know it gets like crap from like the Catalina wine mixer shit, but like it is just like such a peaceful, beautiful place. It feels like heaven. Yeah, my hot take is do what you want. Don't
Yeah,
worry
same.
about anybody else. Like, don't worry about the consequences of doing what you want. Like, just
Mhm.
do what you want and you're going to feel like so empowered and just like happy. I feel like one of the most fun weddings we went to was Jaime and Kenzie.
That was a
And
fun wedding.
they did like a ceremony with their family, but it was all on the same day as their reception.
Mhm.
And then they did like a reception with everybody, friends and family. And they had like an open bar, like make your own drink. And they got married
Mhm.
fairly young. Like we were only a couple years, I think, out of
Yeah,
college,
like
right?
24, 25, but they were together for a long time.
Yeah. So they had like a low key wedding with like a bunch of young people where we were making our own drinks. And he's a DJ.
Mhm.
And so is his best friend and our friend Josh. And so then they like DJ'd the thing. And so it was
Yeah.
like all of the music we wanted to listen to.
They kicked out the fam at like 10
Yeah,
o'clock and was like,
the
all right,
family
we
like
got it for like 2 more hours. Bye, fam.
yeah,
You don't
it
need to
was
be here for this.
it was so much fun. And also yeah, Jaime is the person that did our intro song. So
Woo! Thanks, Jaime.
yeah, shout out Jaime. I think we shouted out him already. But
Well, we can do it again.
yeah, we'll just keep doing it.
Anytime we bring up Jaime, we'll just do a shout out. It works.
Yeah. But I think that honestly, when I think of like the most fun weddings I've been to, that was one of them.
There's so many. I'm trying to think back. Like, I always loved little parts of all of them.
I love like weddings also where you go out after and hang out with
Mhm.
everybody. So like what, Brennan and Scott's wedding, that was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else's wedding did we do that with? Madeline's. Madeline's, did they go out afterwards? I know we had a really big rehearsal
I
dinner
didn't,
before.
but I heard some people did. We went too hard the night before.
You black out at one of the nights. It's just how weddings are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Ryan's little sister, Kelsey, her wedding was phenomenal. And it was just like, you could tell that they planned their wedding about having fun too. Like the night before, they did
Mhm.
like a boat cruise. That was fun. And then that was the night I went a little bit too hard. So like if you went too hard the night before, the rest of the people went too hard the night of the wedding. But they had like a fun DJ with like a light up floor. It was really fun. And then Ryan and I went back to our room and we had like a hot tub.
Oh, nice.
That like goes over, like, what is it called? The like running over.
You were in the mountain. You were on the coast in the mountains.
Yeah, but
like
what is it called
infinity
when the water
pools.
goes over? Yeah, yeah.
Infinity pools.
We were in that and we were like screaming the words to Brand New.
That's how y'all, met with Brand New, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, shout out our friend Alexa. You don't know her, but she asked to be on the Close Friends.
Hey. Oh, Alexa's wedding was fun. That was my double wedding weekend. We're at a wedding one weekend and a wedding the other weekend in Pennsylvania and South Carolina. Damn, there's so many options. Like I think about it, I was like, man, they were all so different.
Wait, okay, so you want to do 2 weddings. What about dress? Do you want
2 weddings? Wait, 2 weddings? Well, 2
events.
Yeah, probably.
You want to do 2 events, and what kind of dress?
Oh my god.
Do you want a white dress?
I don't know.
Really?
Like mostly white. Maybe some like a fun. I've seen some cool like veil pics of like really intricately crocheted like veils.
Yes.
Which were colorful, which seemed kind of cool. I don't think I would do something like a black dress, but I've heard people done stuff like that, and I'm like, that's cool. But I don't necessarily think like you need to do white. Mm-hmm. But I would do white. I don't know. I don't say I'm a little.
You're open.
Yeah, I'm open, but I'm picky. Like,
it has to be something specific. So for you to stray from white, maybe it has to be like something
pretty unique. Yeah, but I'm open to unique too. Everything really depends on the vibe of what ends up being decided. Like if it's outdoorsy in the woods, like would it be more? The style might be a little bit different. If it's more like, oh, we're on a beach or in a different spot, like that would affect like what I want to do.
Yeah.
I just know like mostly outside. I'm leaning to mountains.
What about time of year? I love
trees. Oh, warm. Green.
Warm.
I want green.
The way you say warm is always like
warm.
Like, what accent is that?
If anyone can locate warm.
I want it to be warm. Katie, that could literally be year round with climate change. So you're gonna have to like.
Well, okay.
Spring.
I just like the green of trees.
So spring.
So spring to summer, but not like 1 million degrees, but not like some places March can be cold.
Yes.
Or April can be cold. I don't want it to be like
cold.
But it might be the greenest.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah. Again, but I think fall's really pretty. And in some places in the winter, if you just got the right vibe,
now you're
again, this is how my mind works. I'm like, I can make it all work.
I think honestly, if you think of like places first.
Yeah.
Places first. And then like, okay, what is my favorite season of that place?
Yeah. Why'd y'all pick March?
I really don't remember why we picked March. I'm thinking I really have no idea. I couldn't even give you an answer. I know I wanted a spring wedding. I didn't want a summer wedding. Didn't want fall, didn't want winter. I wanted a spring wedding.
Okay.
And oh, you know what? It probably had to do with our photographer or videographer's availability.
Okay, for March. Otherwise, you would like wait.
I think we maybe planned around our videographer's availability because that was like one of our biggest investments and one of the most important things to us. Are you going to give a rock as a gift to everybody?
I could. I never really thought about that before. I guess brides do give gifts to like their friends and family, right? Is that a thing? Yeah.
Also, I know you like to beat it up on the dance floor, so
you're damn right.
Wherever your after party is will have to be lit.
That's what I want to do. That's why I'm like, I don't want my family at an after party.
Yeah.
Like that's why I was like, I don't want them there. They don't need to. It's not their scene. Every time I would always get like not shit on, but it's like, Katie, you're still going to the club at 25? Yeah, Dad, I do. I did that. Yeah, you're damn right I did.
It's not like you were a club rat.
I know.
And
like I went out with friends. They was like, you're still doing that at 27? And I'm like, shut up.
Yes, you can literally do that for forever.
Forever. I will. We will be. Yeah, duh. So I guess, I've thought a little bit about it. like just general things, but not really anything super specific.
Do you have a Pinterest board?
No, I don't.
I recommend that to just like explore things.
I have Pinterest boards on stuff that I like just in general, but I don't have like a wedding specific one. But I could look into that. Might as well start.
There's like more of like a different aesthetic and style to
Mhm.
weddings, whereas before I think it was just like, I don't know, like
Here's a
pretty
dress. Here's a
bridal focused, like around
Mhm.
like the bride's hair and makeup and style of dresses. And then like
Mhm.
now it's like there's more of like an aesthetic to
Yeah.
weddings, or
I'm
like
picking a
an
vibe.
emotion that people want to evoke.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a big part of it. I kind of like the idea of like an ethereal, not like fantasy sounds dumb and cringe, but like,
High fantasy.
no, but like a little bit of those elements. Like I think it's important to have like elements. Some people love certain things, like, oh, you're getting a Western wedding. Maybe some people are wearing like, you're wearing cowboy boots under your dress or something. Like just like little things like that bring in some of the stuff that you like. I always joke that I'm going to walk down an aisle or whatever to swag surfing in violin form.
You should do it.
I know. I'm always like, I would totally do that just because it's like a vibe and no one's going to tell me what to do. Or it'd be like some like Lord of the Rings song or something. But, just something silly like that.
Yeah, something that's you.
Yeah. Can't try to pretend. Gotta be you, man. It's weddings. Yeah. Everything is a manifestation of who you are as a person. So your personal style, your whatever. Be unique.
But also, like, you can say that, like, you are actually nothing.
We are nothing. That's why it matters more, Because you are nothing. Nothing matters. So do whatever you want. Or nothing matters. Everything sucks.
But you were saying,
really balances
you were saying, like, style is a manifestation of you.
Yeah. You express yourself.
If you are nothing,
then you won't have good style.
Then you have nothing. Then there's nothing. Then you're pulling.
Well, yeah. Well, are we nothing or are we something?
I think we're nothing.
Well, yeah, but we're nothing in the grand scheme of things.
I think we are whatever we say we are in the moment and decide to be in the moment.
Yeah. Your mindset influences
which means that you're not actually anything. You're just like what?
Yeah, your chemicals.
To do. It could constantly change.
You're a bunch of chemicals and sense cells just doing random shit. Somehow making thoughts work.
THOTS. WERK. Thanks so much for listening to this episode all about weddings and our opinions and specifically non-traditional weddings and why we like them / why I had one.
And why we're thinking about having one.
Why Katie is thinking about having one.
Not me and Carrah, just me. Well, and yeah. Please follow us at Life in the Party on Instagram, and by the time this comes out, TikTok will be dead. So we'll figure something else out for that one.
I don't think TikTok's going to be dead. I think eventually it won't work. I don't think it's just getting removed from our phones. So follow us at Life in the Party Pod. We're also running a special. Just kidding. It's not a special, but
it is a special though. It's special.
It is special. Yeah. I don't know if it's a special, but it's definitely special. If you follow us on Spotify and leave us a 5-star review and send us screenshots on Instagram, or you can text us if you're VIP, we will add you to our close friends story on Instagram. So you'll see nudes, you'll see
more nudes,
social security numbers,
credit card numbers,
balances, deep dark secrets, and lots of gossip about people that we know.
All right, thank y'all so much. Have a great day.
Bye.